All right, man who needs no introduction, because everybody knows Joey. Ask anybody. It's the old saying.
Pretty much true.
So, for those 1 in a million who don't know who you are, who the heck are you?
Well, I am Joey Phillips. I am a local runner, I would have to say.
Local being.
Local being in the Akron area, Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio area. I'm not your prototypical story as far as running is concerned. There's a lot of work that went into whatever I became, whatever that is. But it's kind of an interesting story.
How long you been running?
I've been running for 28 years.
Okay, you don't have to tell us how old you are, though.
I
but
will.
No
I'll be 61 in about a month.
Nice.
So I know it takes a lot of work to look this mediocre. But actually, I never really was any sort of distance runner or runner at all. When I was younger, I was in sports, and I was, I played basketball, baseball, and football, but never really thought of running as far as anything other than punishment for the things that I failed to do. But my story kind of starts 28 years ago when I was at work at the university, and I fell from about 10 foot of altitude and completely trashed my right knee.
We'll have to highlight that. What it looks
Yeah,
like.
we'll get with that. But that's when my story actually started from here.
Yeah, you hadn't run before that, so.
No.
So what did the doc tell you?
Well, the doctor's fantastic. Everybody thinks this story is a doctor that's trying to doom me or say I can't do something. It was really pretty much shattered. Toward the ACL, MCL, and unfortunately all the medial meniscus was removed.
Not much left.
No, that's pretty much bone on bone.
You need a new knee at that point.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And when I came out of recovery, and this doc has done some serious operations in his time. When someone that has that many operations under his belt tells you in recovery, wow, Joe, this is the worst knee I've ever had to repair, yeah, you kind of listen. And he went through the checklist of things that would be trouble. He goes, that first thing I want you to do is walk without a limp. He goes, that would be nice. He goes, if you play basketball anymore, he goes, you definitely have to wear a knee brace. You're going to be in some chronic pain, most likely. And he says, you probably never run again. And I remember saying, well, that's okay because I don't. And oddly enough, that's how this story starts.
So, jump ahead to today.
Well,
how many miles do you think you got underneath your belt?
Underneath from that day. Well, back to the doctor real quick though. He didn't try to doom me. He was just trying to set me straight of how serious the damage was. So what happened was he put me in a rigorous 8-month program, which is something that kind of ties in with what Andy does, because this is what Andy does. I was in with a group back then that really cared about the recovery, and it wasn't like do 10 of these and do 5 of those and how did that feel. It was, come on, do them right, work hard, and that's what ties me and him together, I think. What happened was after 6 months of rehabbing, and another part of that story too is I was chubby when I fell. I was actually called Chubby Joe, which is,
hard to believe now.
I thought was a joke until I saw a picture of me 2 weeks before I fell, coming back from my brother's place in California after I water skied, and I went, this was back when you had to get film developed, and you went to Photomat and you had to get it back.
You're dating yourself.
Yeah, and I looked at that picture and I went, oh my God, when they call me Chubby Joe, I am Chubby Joe. So now I was Chubby Joe, and then I fell. So, like I was saying before, the therapist that worked with me really put me through the paces, and I appreciated every bit of it. And I not only cut the weight, but I got myself into true fitness, I think, for the first time in my life. And what happened after that was pretty much a miracle.
Yeah. So, how many marathons we got now? So they told you, heads up, you're not really going to run. Jump ahead.
Right.
How many
Well,
marathons we got?
It wasn't that he was wrong, but
Yeah, but you're you.
I am me, and I trained pretty hard during that 8 to 12 month period post-op. I trained with a bunch of crazy lunatics from this area that I want him to interview real runners. And I saw them work hard. I trained for a 10K, which the doctor gave me permission to do. And it was a Revco 10K. Just talk about dating myself. I ran the 10K, but I waited for my friends to finish the marathon. And it was amazing to see the work that they put into it, and then the efforts come to fruition when they finished. I had tears in my eyes for them. And I looked up and I thought, is there any way I can run a marathon?
Should you give it a go?
Yeah, so the next day I called the doc. And Dr. Paul Ryman is one of the best in the country right now. And he said, no limitations. So fast forward, 48 marathons to date.
48.
48 marathons, and the shirt. He.
This is a highlight.
Andy
let's highlight here.
Andy made this shirt.
Papa's 20th Boston. He is 20 of those 48 have been in Boston.
28.
So
Boston
we had to show our support.
Yes, all of them qualifiers, and I couldn't be prouder of any one of them. It's just for one thing, to run a marathon was never in my vocabulary or my wheelhouse. And to be able to finish 48 marathons and then to have 20 Bostons in my pocket.
That's pretty cool. It's very respectable.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, jumping forward to now, in today's world,
right.
I'm pretty sure you have a big following in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Last name Phillips, and your group is
the Flyers. But,
Phillips Flyers.
Don't spell it wrong. It's Phlyers. The Phillips Flyers are a special group of ragtag runners from the area, from anywhere from Mark Godell to Connie Gardner, who are
some big names,
record holders in ultra marathoners, to someone that just wanted to get off the couch and get going. Or others that were maybe injured and thought had doubts about themselves, and was given my name.
So it's a well-rounded group. Everybody.
It's an incredible
from
group.
the most extreme, ultra-marathon individuals to the everyday runner.
To an everyday runner.
That's pretty good. All right.
Pretty proud of that group. We've been around for quite a while, and we have. It's just a special group of people.
Well, I know you probably won't say we should listen to you, but I'm going to ask.
Yes.
Why should I listen to you if you're going to give me running advice?
Why should I listen to you? To me? Well, that is a very good question, and most of my flyers would want the same question.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I guess because I've been through it and I've done it. I don't want to say I retired, but it's been 3 years since I've run a marathon in Boston.
So you jump from player to coach now, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, they call me Papa.
Yeah.
Because
not grandpapa.
Not grandpapa
Not yet.
Because I'm one of the older ones, and I think they respect me for getting out the things that I have done. Why should you listen to me? Because I've been there and I've done that, and I'm still not done yet, I guess. And I've listened to a lot of others that were heavy hitters in this area. I think this area is one of the best in the country as far as distance runners are concerned. And I've kind of put a melting pot of their wisdom and how it pertains to me, and I've been there.
Any words of wisdom for the new runner?
The new runner, hey,
just start.
If I can do it, I've always wondered what it would be like to run with a marathon with 2 legs. If I can run, anybody can run. And I would like to talk to maybe some of the people out there that are having physical issues. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. And a lot of them, think, well, I can't. And I'm here to tell you that, you have to assess your injury. There's no doubt about it. I'm not saying you can come off the deck and do what I did. I would highly recommend not doing what I did.
That's the stubborn route, and you just got lucky, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're in that pocket of injury, when I was injured, when I was on the recovery table, and when I was going through my recovery, 20 Bostons was never even in the thought. But what was in the thought that maybe some of the folks would want to hear is you know what, I see what's ahead of me. I see what I have. Let's assess that, and you know, let's get it the best we can get it, and you know, it can be done. I mean, it's something. When you're in that pocket, you don't know what your future is going to lie. Right now I'm in a pocket where I'm kind of stagnant as far as marathons are concerned. I don't know what my future is going to lie, but right now I'm in a good spot. I'm working hard to try to keep fit. For 61, I'm pretty proud of
I'll admit it for once. Yeah, you look pretty good for 61.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't admit that much.
No.
Just so you know. So when you're in that pocket, you don't know what your future is going to lie, but you got to put the effort. It's the only building you have is yourself. And when you're in that pocket, just work hard to get back what you can, and you might be surprised of the things that can come off of that. I would say that work hard, listen to folks like Andy. I mean, I owe my basic recovery to folks like Andy. I mean, at that time, it wasn't him. I don't think he was born yet. Holy crap, were you born yet?
No. Hate to tell you that.
That was bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Should have said that, but that's what he does. It's the field that he does. And one thing I love about Andy is that when he works with you, it's not, like I said, do 10 of these, and he works with you. And he tells me, hey, you know, that was pretty sloppy, or, you know, why don't you do this, or when you're doing that, pull this in, or I'm sure my posture is horrible right now. But he works hard with you to get the most bang for your buck as far as your body is concerned. And that's what I went through back in the day. Physical therapists are priceless as far as my concern.
All right, why should you run?
Why should you run? Well, I have friends that set numbers. Oh man, I need that time. I got to get such and such time, and I get that. I understand that. I was in that pocket too. But I always tell them, until you've done the work and you're training, training is like a physical therapist. If you don't do the training, then you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And I've 48 marathons. Not all of them have been success stories. I've done the old, you know, marching band leader march, you know, a few finishes of those things too. And it all culminates from, you know, looking back, say, what went wrong? Well, a bunch of things. And maybe some of them where I didn't train the way I should have trained. If you're going to dedicate yourself to a 5K, don't even talk about marathons. They're stupid. If you're going to talk about a 5K, put the work into it. And don't be surprised, oh, I want to hit 24 minutes. You know, 24 minutes is just a number until you can hit that. Reach yourself a goal. And I think goals are important, but reach yourself an attainable goal. Worst thing to do is say, oh, I want 24 minutes, and not really put the work into it. And maybe 24 wasn't realistic at the time. But you ran a marathon, you ran a 5K, and all of a sudden it was 28 minutes. Oh, I was a failure. No, you weren't necessarily a failure. Well, maybe what you did do is not put the work into it, or pick an unrealistic goal. Find a goal that's right. Put the work into it. There's nothing better than a great race. Because you worked, there's nothing worse than struggling through and wondering, you know, having self-doubt. There's nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with failing. As long as you put the work in, maybe push the envelope a little bit too much. I've done that. But failing because you set a horrible goal and you didn't put the work into it, that's your fault.